Hey, so we are here in Spiral Abyss Floor 10. This is going to be a full free-to-play guide for Floor 10. The left side of the screen is going to show you the enemy layouts or spawn points, the waves, everything. On the right side of the screen is going to be the total number of enemies in the current chamber. So here on Floor 10 is pretty different from the original update. So here in this first room, we're going to have a Cryo Slime and two Hydro Slime. So right off the bat, we're just going to take out those guys. We're going to use Anima Traveler's ult. Sometimes it carries them away, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like it's a ping issue. I'm not entirely sure. So I play on mobile, so that may be the reason. Because I've seen some travelers like the same level as mine, they carry enemies like it's nothing. So I really have no idea. So the main gimmick of this floor is the sheer cold. And previously, or I guess on floor 9, there were like fire turrets that you could stand next to, and on this one there are fire sealies that you have to stand next to. The fire sealies are going to be walking around or floating around the floor, depending on which chamber. They are different in every chamber. The guides that I have on the left, they are in the description, by the way, I didn't say that, but they're in the description so you can see it easier. Those do have the paths of the sealies. Like I said, they are different for each chamber, so if you wanted to look at it to prepare ahead of time, you can. It's there. So this one, I haven't really been saying what's going on, but we're really just using Swirl because Swirl is really good. We're using Anima Traveler. Anima Traveler is very good here. So we're going to want to take out the slimes first, because these guys are going to spawn, once they all die, are going to spawn a Hydro Abyss Mage right here in the back. He is going to have an aura, and it is going to be the bubble aura, so every so often, like 4 bubbles will appear around your character to potentially trap you. You can see when it's going to happen because the ground lights up below you. So one thing you could do to break down his shield is that you could stand next to the other healer turtles and swirl. You will pick up the cryo, which would do a lot more damage to his shield than pyro. But because I, as you can see here, do not have another healer on this team, we do not have a free-to-play healer outside of Barbara, and I'm using her in the second half, so I gotta be like really careful here. So I'm trying my best to not take as much damage. So that's why I'm like being like pretty evasive with my gameplay and just like not really engaging a lot of enemies, just because I need to not take damage. But if you have somebody like Diona or any other healer, feel free to just kind of like charge them like that. So once we kill all the healer turtles, 2 Whopper Flowers are going to spawn in the back. If you stand in the front of the room, you'll get both of them to teleport over to you. And then from here you can just swirl with Anima Traveler using his skill and their ult. And pretty much just with Anima Traveler you will be able to take them out using swirl damage, so long as you're Bill Ellen's Mastery, which as of 1.6 you should be. So that last hit, we are going to take them out, and we're going to move on to the second half. So this second half is much more difficult than it was the previous update, because now we have an Abyss Lector coupled along with this Cryo Abyss Mage. So what we're going to do is we're going to break his shield with Amber's ult and continue to take him out. We're going to take out the Abyss Mage first because he has this Cryo Cage beneath him, and trying to fight an Abyss Lector, or Abyss Herald, this one. An Abyss Herald with that constantly happening is very annoying, so we're going to take him out first to get that out of the way. And at this point, it is just kind of hacking away at the Abyss Herald, so eventually we'll cut forward. I don't know when it happens, but it does. The main gimmick of the Abyss Herald is that he will increase your skill cooldowns, so if something is already on cooldown, it will get increased if you get hit by some of his attacks. So just watch out for that. Also, the Sealy, you still have to worry about sheer cold, so I just kind of like focus on the left side of the room right here, because the Sealy, I think in this room, just goes back and forth. But like I said, you can just check the diagram for that. So at about 15% HP or whatever, he's going to go into his shield phase, and he is going to be Hydro, and taking it out is much easier with Kaeya, so I just skip ahead right there. It's just constantly hitting him with Kaeya's skill, kind of swapping to Lisa to apply Electro like that. It was really just hitting him with Cryo, which is not very like entertaining to watch, so I just skipped ahead. So here on Chamber 2 of Floor 10 is just going to be a bunch of small healer turtles. So this is also why we have Anima Traveler here, because he makes pretty quick work of these guys. Just like that, they're pretty much all dead, so that's really great. And once you kill like a wave of Hilichurls, another wave is going to spawn. There are, I believe, 2 waves of just Hilichurls. So we're going to take out those guys. Once you kill all 8 regular Hilichurls, we're going to spawn in 2 Midichurls and 2 Samachurls. Both Midichurls have ice shields. One is in the back and one is in the front. So when that happens, we're going to run to the front of the room, because that is where the Samachurls spawn. We're going to go on either side of them, really doesn't matter, and just ult with Animal Traveler in line with them to catch both of them in the blast. And this should do a ton of damage, it not just straight up kill them. And then from here, we can use Xiangling or any other pyro character to break these guys' shields. You can also use a Claymore, but it's just much easier to use Pyro. So I'm just going to skip ahead to when I actually just kill them, because it's just killing Midichurls. There's nothing else special going on there. So now we're moving on to the second half, and I believe this second half is the Lector? Question mark? Yeah, it's the Lector. The Lector with the Cryo Abyss Mage. Same thing as last time, we're going to kill the Cryo Abyss Mage first. I guess I don't have Amber's ult, so I'm just using her charge attacks. We're going to knock him out, and then we're going to kill him first, just like last time. Because once again, he does have a Cryo Aura, and that's just really annoying to deal with, and I don't want to. So the Abyss Lector is pretty similar to the Abyss Herald. He is not as mobile as the Abyss Herald, but he still does a ton of damage with his attacks. His main gimmick is that he will drain energy and not cooldowns. So it's going to be the same thing with him. Once you get him down to about 15% HP, he will go into his quote-unquote shield phase. And once he reaches that point, he will gain an Electro Shield right here. So the Electro Shield is best taken out by, I believe, Pyro. So that's why we have Amber. We can just stand at a pretty comfortable distance and just pelt him with her charge attacks, occasionally throwing down Baron Bunny in front of him, just in case that's an extra Pyro application. But otherwise, it is just hitting him from afar a ton of times. So we're going to skip ahead to when I actually knock it out. And there it is with 3 stars. Moving on to the last chamber. This chamber is something. We already have 6 stars at this point, so we are moving on, so it's not really that big of a deal, but we are fighting a cryohypostasis. Now, if you are having trouble with the cryohypostasis, this is just a regular boss out in the world, so if you wanted to go practice with that, you could. So that is one of his attacks right there. He'll roll around at the speed of sound, Sonic style, and I believe it stops when he crashes into a wall, but I have not really found a consistent way. And then he'll go into his regular cube state. This is another one. He'll shoot 3 waves of ice around him in rings, starting at the center. So once he does that first one, you just go toward him. And I believe, oh no, this is the last one. This is just things like raining down for you. You can try to run forward like I did right there. The further you are, the better. But here at this point, it's just hacking away. So we're going to cut to when he is low HP. So when he is low HP, like pretty much every hypostasis has like this weird phase. And his is he turns into a cube and throws down these like ball things. So you're going to need to charge attack those back at him. You do actually have to face him, as far as I know, to be able to get them in line. But as long as you're like decently close, it will home in onto him. So he will continue to do this until you break it completely, and while he does have the shield, he does heal. So unfortunately, I am not going to be able to kill him right now in this first phase, so I will have to go through another one, but I'm going to cut ahead with that one. You don't have to see that. So basically, I just went through everything again to get to that point. So with that, we are going to move on to the third chamber, or the second half of the third chamber. And this one is, again, pretty easy, not facing that many enemies. We're going to have a Hydro Abyss Mage here in the back and a Frost Arm Law Turtle. So just like always, we are going to kill the Abyss Mage first. Now this Abyss Mage does have a black aura underneath him, and this means that like periodically he's going to send out a shockwave of some element and deal damage. In this case, it is Hydro. So every so often he'll do a Hydro Wave like that. So we are going to take him out first, just because with no Hydro in the picture, we will not get frozen. And also there is still the Sheer Cold, but because I have Barbara and a healer in general, you can just kind of ignore it. It's not really that big of a deal if you heal it away. So he's dead here. Frost Arm Laratoral, we are going to just pelt him with a couple of Pyro Shots to break down his shield, and once his shield goes down, he's a lot less threatening. Because his attacks don't actually like shoot out cryo. So once that is down, this is basically just fighting a Laratoral, any other Laratoral. So I actually do take a little bit longer, and he does go into his phase again, which does happen. If you do take too long, he will go back into his ice phase, but it's the same thing. Just hit him with a bunch of pyro attacks and break it down again, and then it's just hacking and slashing away at him. We got 1 star, but it's fine. We got a total of 7 stars. We are going to be moving on to floor 11. I hope this helped you. If this did help you, well, if you enjoyed the video, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Like and subscribe if you want. I would really appreciate it. Tick on my bell while you're at it, and I will see you in the next one, Floor 11. Floor 11 is actually already done at this point, so it's going to come out soon. It was a little tough, but I got it in the end. The real challenge is going to be Floor 12, so I'll see you there. Bye-bye.